Are we taking comments from chat this time?
I I hope so,
we can try.
but like we have an hour, and I'm actually pissed. So me being pissed, it means like 3 hours of
Is it
talking.
me or?
No, I'm pissed at Amazon Games actually. Wait. Let me rephrase that because this is not true. I'm pissed at the situation, not at Amazon Games or Smile Game. Hello guys, welcome to another episode of The Ark. This is episode number 2. I'm joined here once again by Lin-0 right on top of me, Saintone, and Wilky down to the bottom right corner. 3 very lovely people, 3 of my favorite content creators for Lost Ark. Definitely will have their links in the description below so you guys can check them out and learn a lot of things from them. Today we're gonna talk about the postponement of Lost Ark to 2022. We got a lot of spicy topics to go through. I'm still pissed off, not as pissed off as I was 2 days ago, but still, I just wanna get straight into the meat of things and ask you guys, bugs. What bugs? We're being told bugs, and why does it take 5 to 7 months to fix them? It's my first question.
First of all, it was so sad watching your video how your expression turned about a minute into it.
Yeah, I was actually
I felt so bad.
I was expecting to have like a delay, but some serious beta dates for November or December. But then in the middle of it, Jesus Christ! I mean, I don't want to keep talking myself. I'm gonna talk about it throughout this video. But I had so many things like planned with vacations from work and stuff. And anyway, bugs. You tell me, Wilky, what bugs take 7 months to fix?
Well, first of all, I'm with you there that I don't necessarily think that the bug fixing part is the main reason they're delaying this. I do believe that they are, at least with the upcoming delay, that they will try to incorporate the nostalgia update, the tier 1 and tier 2 compression. It's much more likely now that they actually gonna do this, even though I'm not entirely sure how good or bad this is gonna turn out for fresh server. Like, I'm a little bit hesitant to understand. Like, I haven't played it obviously, and I think Koreans also had a mixed bag of feelings with the gold compression and everything. If they actually try to push this nostalgia update, then there are probably a few bugs that they have to squash. I don't think it's going to be 5 to 7 months, and I think it's more of a strategic decision by Amazon to give New World more time to flourish, and then just launch Lost Ark whenever they feel like it.
Okay, Saint. No, wait, just a second. Saint, I wanted to ask you. You obviously have played on the Korean server. I've also played on the Korean server. I got a feel of how this new revamp of gear is. You tell me if with this revamp of gearing up for tier 1 and tier 2, because obviously we're talking about nostalgia, they're bringing over nostalgia. Well, they're not really bringing over nostalgia, just bringing over a revamp in the UI, in the menus to enchant, because they just remove the gold there and it costs something else. So you tell me if you think that there is 5 to 7 months of bugs in this revamp that they want to get over to us, that they need to fix.
I think that everyone's really hyper fixated on the bugs part.
Oh, we're gonna
It's true
fixate
that there's
on so many things
I
today.
know they said it, but I mean, there's probably more to it than that if they're actually planning on bringing over some of these quality of life and features. I think there are bugs involved when we're talking about the NA and EU branch, but I don't think it's that much time worth of bugs. When we're talking about delays as well, if we're going off of the original date that we had projected from the original Steam leak of October 21st, we're looking at like a delay of anywhere between 3 and 5 months, which is still a very long time. But in the game dev world, that is not a long time at all. It's a very small amount of additional time to work with.
Mm-hmm.
it just feels long as people that have been waiting for the game day in and day out. But yeah, I definitely don't think it's purely bugs that we're talking about here. Even if there might be a few. So yeah.
Is Smilegate actually responsible here, since they are the bug crushers and just have no time to deal with our version? Is this delay maybe agreed with Smilegate? What do you think, Lino?
I think it's a bit of both. I mean, we've already seen that their information following the alpha that they've been showing out, like the costumes that they shown up for the platinum packs and Sophist not being there, for example. We can say that they're still quote unquote working on stuff, working on localization. I think there has been some pushback probably from Amazon when it comes to the publishing dates, and they would likely have wanted a little bit more time to be more comfortable with the localization work that they're doing and any of the changes that they're applying to the game for our region. But I think, as people have said, it's nostalgia. It's these new patches that are coming in. It's these new updates from Korea. It'd be really strange for us to release without nostalgia and then suddenly get a massive gear revamp, a few months down the line when they update the client version. So I'm pretty sure that it's Smilegate wants more time to test out updates. They want more time to see how it's received, if there are any changes that need to make. And who knows, maybe do some of these quote unquote balancing changes that they wanted to make once they announced for some of the missing classes that we talked about previously, right? So it may give them time to get the game into a better, more polished version. Especially since, if I recall correctly, in LOA Mini, they did say that, now that they've released Abersheld Raid, now that they've released Sorcerers, they've gotten these big content patches out. The focus is pretty much just going to be quality of life, balance changes, and focusing on these little aspects of the game. And I feel they would want to include that with the NAEU release, and pushing back to give them time to do that is a pretty good call.
I also wanted to touch upon, before I forget actually, to some people in the community, this is a message to you, that even though we're all really upset about this being postponed, and we feel that we've somehow been betrayed, or we've been actually lied to with the original date, and these things happened, which are not all under Amazon's control, by the way. I really wanted to, in case you're watching, those of you who are extremely angry to a point of going violent on the forums, because I have here, actually, I'm going to share it with you guys also in the group chat. I have here a picture of this moderator called Rox being harassed on the stream forums, and I really wanted this to be a call from me to those of you guys who feel like doing this, whether you're watching or not. I hope you are. To just take it a little bit easier with the insulting Amazon staff because we're upset. I'm also upset, but I would like maybe you to take a bit of my example and just try to stay at least a bit more civil in discussing. It's cool that you're saying things out loud and that we're speaking up about this, but to go and offend Amazon employees, this is an absolute big no. This should never happen. So let's just express our disappointment without upsetting people. I just wanted to mention that. Sorry. Before
No. It's a good thing that you mention it, because community managers, they are essentially in many cases paid moderators. They do much more than that, but they're the most forward-facing, bottom-rung employees in a video game company. And the person that you brought up, Rox, when part of their job is to communicate regularly to the community whenever people bring up questions, and to make it so that Amazon has a presence among the community, and they're actually like actively answering questions and whatnot, even if sometimes those answers may feel a little hollow at times. But they answer to the best of their capacity with what information they have at the time. People who are responding on those forums are not people who make the big decisions. I guarantee you, when they had written that or when anyone had written that, oh, the game's still going to make it out in 2021 from the capacity of an employee from Amazon, they did so with what information they had at the time from the people that they were working with. And so when people who are higher up in the company that make these bigger decisions have a meeting one morning and they decide, after having spoken with representatives from Smilegate, oh, yeah, let's push the game out by 3, 4, 5 months to give us more time to do this, and this. And then they relay that message down to their teams in their morning scrum meeting. Oh, yeah, by the way, we're pushing the game 3, 4, 5 months. These are people that now have to bring that information and bring it to the community and talk with the community about it. And it may differ from their original messaging.
Yeah.
But it's not these people who made these decisions. So yeah, don't shoot the messenger.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of the chats saying we actually talked about this before we started this, that the community managers are not entirely, or how should I word this? For the most part, they just can't relay the information that they have been given or that they are allowed to share. They may know more on the inside, but they are legally bound to not say anything or something, if they even know more than that. So it should be obvious that those people are, even though they're like the gateway between developers or higher hierarchy members, whoever is like pulling the strings, like those people can't really be held liable. They may at times could be wording things differently or may try to de-escalate the situation, but I don't think there's a way to de-escalate the situation about a delay. Everybody was looking for Lost Ark. Now it's going to be delayed. I don't really think that the CMs or moderators or whoever it is, like I don't think they can actually do something about this.
No,
This is the sad, like these are sad news, and
I-
that's just it.
Absolutely not. And the harsh words towards these people in particular, going away from their job as Amazon employees, even to their streams, their real lives. This is something that I highly encourage you guys, and I really hope that if some of you who do this are watching, I really hope you're gonna stop, because this is not good at all for anything, and they cannot do anything like Saintone Wilky mentioned. I want to continue tearing apart their post about the delay, and talk just a minute about the translation. I know there's English, German, French, Spanish, so there's I believe 4 languages that they want to go into. But do these 4 languages, do we have to consider that these 4 languages somehow are being started now? Because let's remember, they had 1 year already since August 2020 when they announced this partnership. Stuff has started to being translated since then. The beginning zones, the stuff that hasn't changed with nostalgia is, I hope, already in this year translated, no? They mentioned this as a reason, also included in their letter.
I think it's just being very broad of what they say. I think when the technical alpha didn't really have that many language issues. I think there's always obviously a lot of stuff to localize, but I think translation is probably the least concern at the moment.
So it's just another
I
reason.
think most things were translated already by the time you had looked at the alpha. Anything that was important was mostly already translated. The localization is also making sure that the dialogue is correct. We saw in the technical alpha that a lot of the dialogue did not match the voice acting, and voice acting as well is another really important part of it that takes up a very, very, very large amount of time. We have seen in pretty much every version that isn't the Korean version that they released with incomplete voice acting. They were missing voice acting from certain NPCs and rushed out their launch.
Imagine how much shit they're actually going to get at release when after this delay everyone is expecting, I'm just gonna say it as it is, everyone is expecting even more content than we had so far, but that's not gonna happen. It's already confirmed, but people are still gonna be expecting it somewhere here. But every single dialogue or every single translation or every single bad thing that they're gonna not have done upon release, they're gonna get so much shit for it because people are expecting that now because they've said it themselves, because that's why we're delaying it. This is just some sort of a lose-lose situation for them.
Well, I think they're delaying it so that they can get these things ironed out, right? If there is a problem, there's something that isn't made, if there's something that they're missing out, this delay is the opportunity. All right, let's get enough time to do this properly.
No, but I mean, we already settled that they're not delaying it because of this. They're delaying it because of New World. So,
I beg to differ, honestly.
Oh, really?
I think, I really don't think New World has that much to do with it. I do think that it may have influenced the decision in the sense of how resistant they might have been to the proposal of a delay. So they may be, okay, New World's going to be releasing recently. We need to have a delay anyways, instead of kind of pushing back and saying, no, we have to release now. It probably influenced how that board meeting was, where you had oppositions to a delay. But I think that the cause for the delay, the root cause as to why it is that they're delaying, isn't just, oh, let's do this because we need to give New World some time and then we're gonna release Lost Ark a few months after, once the hype fizzles down. I think it really is look, we're having some internal problems, we want to have a little bit more time, we want to get all the Korean client updates to line up properly and localize them correctly, and since we're going to need to have a delay anyways, might as well just line that up with New World.
That's a very interesting point of view. I completely do not believe them when they're saying these things, but it's nice to have different points of view. I wanted also to touch upon the fact that they said more communication that's gonna come about. They're gonna talk about more things in the game. They said we're gonna be more transparent with what's happening in the back. They said they're gonna give us once a month or every month. Did they say once a month or every month? I don't have the article in front of me. But regardless, they said more communication, and I believe that more communication should have actually started with that very post. Like,
that's cool.
Give us the real deal with this more communication straight from that post. And yet at the same time, when they mentioned more communication, I gave you a link on to Social Blade there. They haven't replied to any tweet that they're getting since the 19th of August. Or was it 15? No, 19th of August. You know what's strange? That on the 20th of August 2020, so a year ago, they announced the partnership with Smilegate. On the 20th of August 2021, they stopped replying to any tweets. It's just like a stupid thing. But I'm just saying, shouldn't more communication have started with that? Shouldn't they today reply to things people are asking them already?
Yeah, I think so. For me, I'm a bit more reserved. I share a similar opinion to Lin, that I think there's maybe a little bit more to it, maybe on the side of Smilegate in terms of what's causing these delays. But I understand that, delays always make people emotional, and in the case of Amazon specifically, they're probably the only MMO company that I know of in many years, if not ever, that is trying to launch two AAA MMORPGs at the same time. So it's within the right of, all the players that we all assume that New World has something to do with it. And if they want us to believe otherwise, if they want us to genuinely believe that it doesn't have anything to do with it, that it's not causing any delay, and that it's something that has to do with Lost Ark itself, the ball is totally in their court to prove that with the information that they share with us each month, and show us what changes are being made, what important developments are causing us to need additional months.
Why do you think they are so bad at being just normal guys and girls? Like it's not really that hard to just be normal or frank with people. Why do you think they find it so hard, so difficult to connect to a community? Is it Smilegate? Is Smilegate not giving them enough? Again, or
No,
why?
I think when you work in this industry, especially as you're a forward-facing person, whether you're working as a community manager or a social media manager or customer support, you have to be so careful with what you say because it could literally be what costs you your job.
I see.
I'm positive that these people know more than they're letting on internally, but they had to be so vague with how they word things. Otherwise, they just get in trouble by people who need them to say less.
I think we mentioned, we talked about this earlier as well, that those people, they're like, they have to abide to their corporate laws, and it's like Saint said, that you can easily lose your job, or even worse, if they were to leak information. I also believe that they probably know more. The fact is, or I don't really know if they were to actually leak some of the information they have, if that would actually help the situation, because we obviously don't know what kind of information is being held back. But there might be internal reviews or internal documents. Speaking of, I mean, I'm just going to talk straight off my ass here, but imagine that they actually planned, or maybe they talked about launching Lost Ark in like the second quarter of 2022, or push it back even further, right? Imagine it would be something like that. So releasing or leaking that kind of information is actually gonna do more harm than good.
So
I think that decision would be
wait,
catastrophic,
You're
though.
scaring people. Wilky.
wait, no, but
Yeah,
no,
that would not happen.
no. Actually, I think he's right. No, I'm just saying, I don't think he's right in what he said. I think he's right in assuming that's going to be delayed again, because nobody is that stupid to launch a game in January, are they? I don't think, even Amazon. So because
It's not that bad.
it's so anyway, the fact that we're talking here about them, that it's okay that they lie, or with this. I'm also talking out of my ass, by the way, people who are watching. So we're assuming that maybe release is not in Q1. They said Q1. Even the fact that we're okay them lying, this is my problem. The fact that we're talking here about leaking things. What if there wouldn't be anything to leak and there would just be transparent? We know Lost Ark. Let's have a poll on who likes Aman. Do you like Aman or Cillian better? It's just like a stupid thing that they can just do without leaking any information or saying anything, just to be more invested, involved in the community. Share a screenshot of Aman crying. I don't know, it's circulating already. Make a meme out of it. Do something, for God's sake. They just give us these tweets once in 15 days now. Just disappointed in how hard they seem to have to communicate with the community. And by the way, sorry to interrupt you. By the way, this is a great segue for me to ask you another thing about the Discord. They also mentioned we're going to open our Discord in November, and also in November we're going to be ready to accommodate our content creators. What does that even mean? Accommodate? Are we a hotel now?
Dude, Discord is such a it's gonna be such a shit show.
It will
They
be.
don't even have a Discord for New World, so it kind of surprised me when they said they were gonna make one for Lost Ark.
Yeah, I mean, imagine how toxic that place is gonna be when they're gonna release it, because we already have a community Discord for 5 years already. There's 50,000 people there. So what's gonna happen? Because I've already talked to some people on the community Discord. They're just gonna connect to feed information from the official Discord in the news section to the fan-made Discord. This is what's gonna happen. And in the official Discord, there's gonna be these people, like that guy who was flaming rocks, full of them. It's gonna be great. And then they're gonna ban those people because they have to, because it's gonna be toxic as all hell. And then they're gonna get into more trouble for being strict and communist. It's gonna be just like... Speaking about Discord, I just want to say that I have talked to the person who owns the fan-made Discord, and he did say that he made various attempts to contact Amazon Games and talk about them taking over this Discord. Of course, after you put in a lot of work, which is needed to keep such a 50,000 people Discord and keep it fresh, clean, and a nice place to be, that takes work. he doesn't want to just give it for free. This is obvious. But apparently Amazon doesn't even want to get to the point where they discuss the money or whatever benefits or stuff like that, because they just simply don't even want to hear about it. As in taking over this Discord, the community one, which is a really great place to be.
I mean, it's complicated to take over a Discord and, you know, make it go on the new moderation. It's a little bit difficult to run a Discord server as a business. You know, if they take over the Discord and then they suddenly want to revamp things, want to change channels around, they want to change the way that things are done. Let's say they're going to clear out all the moderators, so everybody that's a moderator there they're all going to be removed. They all have to go through the application process. So it's complicated to just be like, okay, let's sell the Discord, let's have talks about buying it. It's a much safer bet to be just starting from scratch and going with their own direction as to how they want to take their Discord. And it will definitely, as you say, have lots of issues. We already see lots of toxicity and issues in game forums and Discords, which is a lot more accessible. We'll probably see that happening much more frequently. But it's not uncommon nowadays, I think, for game companies to host Discords for their games.
No, absolutely not. That's fine. But why not take a place where there is already people and just have people over? You don't have to have your own specific where Amazon games were so cool, because they're not that cool. Let's just say it as it is. You know, they don't have a cool track record of being cool. So you know, just the guy wants to give it to them. This Discord, you know, it's so nice already. It's so full of people. What are you gonna do, Lin-0? You're gonna do 2 Discords. You're gonna PvP guide people on the official Discord as well, and here also. And I don't know.
It's difficult, but I mean, someone's gonna have to put that corporate stamp of approval to say, let's have part of a budget going to buying an unofficial Discord, and then probably get flack for changing things instead of keeping the community-run feeling that the Discord has currently. It's probably risky for them to go with that approach, honestly.
It's probably for the better, though. I mean, they're probably going to heavily moderate the official Discord, and I think it's good that we have an unofficial Discord where it's a lot less filtered.
Yeah,
exactly. Like you can speak pretty much freely on there with certain regulations, but I think that goes to say, like, if you're a toxic piece of crap, then you deserve to be handed out. But I also think that the official Discord is going to be a messy place for at least a couple months, to the extent that I'm not even sure if the official Discord for them will actually ever flourish enough to have, like, what I believe it's going to be more like the place for content creators to be in and be spoon-fed certain information. I think most of the people are simply going to be on the unofficial, if you will, Lost Ark Discord, because there's just so much more activity there. Everything is in place.
I think it's going to be the other way around. I think there's going to be a lot more people on the official Discord. I think when we're talking about the greater majority of players that are interested in this game, most people still don't know about the unofficial Discord.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, that's true, because there isn't like so many people promoting the unofficial Discord. But anyway, we're gonna have to see how that goes. Regardless, just wanted to mention that you know, they were trying to be unapproachable bunch of people, because we just need to not say absolutely anything, because otherwise we might get into a lot of legal trouble if we dare talk to people in the community. I've done the same, by the way. Just saying.
I can only talk from my experience with other MMORPGs where I was directly involved as a content creator with one of the GMs where we hosted certain events and stuff like that. It's always a very difficult topic or it's always very problematic, especially with foreign companies. Like, we're talking about Amazon here, so the structure is more or less clear, but I was working with a Korean company, so communication was very, I wouldn't say difficult, but strange. They would not give us anything, so the GM at the end decided to kind of like do his own thing and provide us with certain information and things like that, which inevitably actually cost him his job.
Wow.
Which I don't think we were the cause for it, but I think he just wanted to make the game a better place. And I think there's something similar with that. If they were to take over this Discord, I think it's just, I wouldn't say it's impossible to do something good out of it, but all the energy and all the efforts they would put into that Discord would most likely do more damage to the actual Discord. So it's probably just easier for them to make their own Discord and just see how it goes from
let
there.
them make their own, and let us keep this one that actually has a, let's say, a good vibe in it. 5 days of beta, guys. Should it be 7 days, 12 days? Should we have 2-3 betas? Betas cost money. Let's remember that, to those of you who are watching. Beta is to test things. If we have 0 or 1 beta, like in this case, that means there's 0 to 1 bug that they want to test. I'm joking, of course. In general, them even giving us this 1 beta, for those of you who are watching, kind of means we love you, community. We cannot interpret it in that way, because the postponement of 5 to 7 months is a much, let's say, greater sad thing for us than this 5-day beta. But in reality, betas cost money, so Amazon is giving us some money in that sense.
Betas, to me, or this beta at the very least, is probably less about getting feedback. I mean, they did mention something, I think, about having a pseudo cash shop in there where they would probably be able to collect some player feedback for it. And I think
get to that also.
That's a good opportunity. But usually, my experience with MMO betas is that they aren't betas. They're a demo. They're a paid demo. You know, you get the founders pack, you get to play on the beta a little bit early, you get to build up that hype and interest for the game. I think 5 days actually a pretty good period. Usually the betas that I'm used to is like 3 days, like a weekend.
Lin-0,
so I'm actually,
I think it's short.
I think it's really short, but
Ah.
I think it'd be better to have multiple betas where they would actually be more focused on gathering feedback, as you know, as it's being mentioned. What's the point of having just one beta if they want feedback not to iterate on that? So
It's only 5 days. They've only mentioned one beta.
Yeah.
It's so far away from where we are now, and it's so far away from where we think the game will launch. It doesn't seem like a very long period of time, and for most people who try out this game, 5 days might not even be enough to reach level 50 as a new player. Betas usually are, in some way, shape, or form, a marketing beat. Yes, there is a lot of truth to that, where it's to reinvigorate hype and get people talking about the game again. It's also an opportunity for a lot of unpaid QA, because usually QA teams are a dozen or 2 people at most. And when you have, thousands, tens of thousands of people playing the game hardcore for a few days, you're more bound to find some more of these bugs that you need to squash, apparently. So I think there's marketing to it. And honestly, a 5-day beta gives some of us older players more than enough time to see some of these changes that they're planning to make and get an idea of what kind of version they're envisioning NA&E to launch with. I mean, within logging in, you can see a lot of things just from opening up the item codex. You can see what kind of progression they're going for, what the upgrading rates are, what the costs will be, what content will go up to. So there's a lot that we can glean from 5 days.
fair enough.
I also wanted to ask you guys, what's up with the closed beta? Why only for founders? Why not an open beta?
I mean, you can sign up, and I think, at least when it came to technical alpha, most of the people that signed up to the technical alpha that I know of kind of got a key.
I didn't.
So I don't think they're gonna...
Just
you didn't?
No.
Wow,
Okay.
that's crazy. I thought they were pretty liberal with handing out keys, so that's quite surprising. My assumption would have been they probably have lots of events and lots of places where they're giving out keys, and it's more of just trying to encourage people to buy a founder's pack. But if you hold out for a closed beta key, you probably get one. It may just not be day 1, day 2, which I guess that's when it makes a 5-day beta feel a little bit short if you're not getting in there, as soon as it comes out.
Why do I have to? Why do they have to, in the same message where they're postponing the game, and they know for sure they're gonna get a lot of slack on the internet for it, not only because of Lost Ark or people care about Lost Ark, most people don't know about Lost Ark, by the way, but also because of Amazon games in general, New World, their track record. Why in the same email give people one more reason to hate you? we want to sell our founders packs. It's a closed beta. Who can get into it? The people who purchase a founder pack, because they said that specifically in the email. And also whoever gets lucky to be invited. Why? But why?
It's standard practice, I feel, sadly. I don't think it should be, but it is standard practice in the MMO sphere to have these closed betas and have these premium access packs. So that's why they also made the bronze pack, right? You get the cheapest packs, so you have the little beta access, and that's, you know, I guess a way of getting a little bit of early investment for the game. It is kind of frustrating, I agree. And honestly, I think it feel that it would have more value if they had multiple betas. But given that we only know of one beta and it's a closed beta, and they haven't really said anything about an open beta or an open period, it is a little bit strange, honestly.
Yeah, I should be grateful it's not NDA, because God forbid if they would show some content for this game that's been out for 3.5 years.
So Saintone mentioned, I think, in the previous podcast, how usually the big marketing push is between that beta and release period. So if they put an NDA on the beta, that'd be crazy. That's time that you want to get people to be talking about the game.
I want to put on a tinfoil hat for a second. I want to wonder maybe if the NDA was put on alpha, because what if they knew that the beta, as far as like progression and content wise, would be very different from the alpha.
Wow.
They don't want people talking about the alpha.
Definitely.
Maybe they want people talking about the beta and what systems are in that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't think that's tinfoil hat. I think that's just straight up the truth. We had the January Korean patch, the Gunslinger patch. That was the patch that we had, I believe, in technical alpha. And with nostalgia being a thing, it's just, well, of course, I think the patch would be radically different. So I agree with that 100%. No conspiracy theories here, just truth.
I have another picture to share with you guys and the viewers as well. Accommodating content creators. This is apparently an email that was sent to Lost Ark content creators. Maybe not all of them got it, or maybe this is just fake. I'm just gonna preface this as it is. But if you look at it, it says, you know, with Lost Ark not launching until fall, this is already wrong. There are very limited opportunities to create content. However, as a Lost Ark creator, we'll continue to find ways to support you and head towards launch. Now, if you look at the bottom of this picture, this is where the spicy bit is. For questions, please email newworldcreator@amazon.com.
I didn't get an email like that.
Okay.
I think that's a typo, though. I think that's just an oversight by them internally, that they have like one content creator page, and then they just pushed out everything and they forgot to change it. Because why would they, like, if they would do that on purpose?
No. It's not
obviously not on purpose.
It's not on purpose. Yeah. It's like the striker. Hey, here's a costume for this funny looking character. Should we put it in this picture? Yeah, put it. It's coming from Korea. You know. Anyway, moving on past that. Not that important. Maybe it's a fake email. Anyway, I don't wanna, throw more.
I mean, I got that email as well. I don't think I have it anymore because that was handed out like 2 months ago or something, if not even longer than that.
Okay.
But I have seen that as well. That at the very bottom it kind of wants you, or like has the New World email there.
Okay,
that's probably just oversight.
Right, just like an oversight, because it's like my pub here at the corner of the street launching the game.
It's a very big oversight. You wouldn't, especially with everyone saying, "Oh, New World is Amazon's baby. They're gonna, ditch Lost Ark for New World," and then they post something like that. It's a small mistake in text, but a big mistake with the community, I think.
Maybe that's actually their email. Actually, no, that's not, because I know for sure, because I have actually been talking to the head of content creation in Amazon Games, and that's not their email. It's Lost Ark Creator or something like that at AmazonGames.com. Yeah, anyway, and to send that to content creators also, like, anyway, another topic that I wanted to go into is what we were just talking about. The cash shop sort of revealed rocks on the forums. I'm gonna send you another picture here, just so you guys can look at the same things.
Fire Kingster posted something. I'm just gonna put this into the group chat as well.
So Rox said that the feedback is appreciated as always, and she also said, I think it's a she, I don't know, I'm sorry. He, she, do you guys know? Rox?
Well,
I
going
think-
from that one comment earlier, it's apparently a female, but I don't think it
Yeah.
really matters.
But that's just so I know how to call her, not call her he. When it comes to the shop, the cash shop, she means we will have our monetization plan shared before the beta. So maybe one of those monthly updates that they're planning is actually about the monetization, at which point I'm very interested maybe to do another episode of the Ark if we actually get something that's worth talking in an hour. And that will be part of our testing as well, she says. Inside the beta after they release it, the info before the beta. This is interesting. This is finally something that I want to see, something that people really care about, as opposed to class trailers, which are really important and nice. I completely appreciate all of these things, but they should come like twice a week or every week. I'm interested in writing a review of Lost Ark. Who can I contact? What?
No, it's really important information
What's-
because they've never mentioned anything like that before regarding their monetization and when they would give us information about it. I think there's another post floating around, correct me if I'm wrong, where they also mentioned that we would be able to like test out their cash out. Like they would give us cash out currency to play around with it
Same
during.
thing, same post, yeah, same.
it's in it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I mean that they never mentioned that before. That's really useful to know actually, because I think monetization is it's a very important topic to a lot of people. For a moment, everyone kind of forgot about it because of the delay, but you know the topic will come rearing its head in again really quickly.
Yeah, and I'm so happy with this post that I've just showed on the screen, the one that I shared with you from Rox, because this is one of the first replies from someone at Amazon that actually tells something. Hey, we have a plan to show this before, some info. She could have added, maybe it's not going to work out, maybe it's just going to be in beta so she can be covered, or Amazon. This is nice. This is something that I want to see. I get excited about this. I can talk about this for 2 minutes in a podcast. This is cool. What's this that you shared, Wilky? I'm interested in writing a review of Lost Ark. Who can I contact? This is a question from Yes.
Yeah, it's in the official FAQ. So if you were to like contact them, these are like the official emails that they were handing out.
Okay,
so
so
the other email
was a mistake.
is probably a fake thing or something. Yeah.
Okay. What do you mean a fake thing? You said you got it as well.
Well, I got it as well. It's from play@emailamazongames.com. I don't really know if that is
Okay, so you're saying that the bottom part, someone might have photoshopped it as...
maybe, I don't know, because
Right.
in that email, in that specific email, there's like Lost Ark Creator Program Guidelines, and if you click on that link, it actually shoots you to New World as well. So, I don't know, if maybe somebody just spoofed the email and just tried to push people into New World. I don't think Amazon did that, but...
Okay, fine. Let's just forget that ever happened. Maybe we're not right. Is it possible that Lost Ark will be postponed again? What will happen if they will postpone it again?
We're gonna have cyberpunk memes all over Twitter if that happens. It's just gonna be Lost Ark logo on the yellow background, and that's what's gonna happen. I don't think they're gonna postpone it again. It's too risky, especially given the reputation of their delays in New World. They're gonna be doing these kinds of delays for Lost Ark, and Amazon Games are already notorious for not being able to get games over the line. So I don't think they have much of a choice there. If they want to maintain some semblance of reputation and not get people to be super up in arms about it, I think they are going to have to commit to a release. Even if it's very late Q1, they're going to have a release.
So we can plan our vacations for March, Saintone. You're telling this to all of the Westerners. Plan your vacations in March.
I just couldn't imagine what else they could possibly delay for. That's all I'm thinking. I could already barely imagine what they could be delaying for in the first place.
New World having problems next year in January. Big problems.
Yeah, but let them have problems and let them keep delaying. Let us play Lost Ark. You know?
Exactly.
Okay. Wilky, can they delay it? Should I take vacation? I watched your video. I saw you were pissed off. For a German guy, you were very pissed off. You just didn't say it.
Exactly. I I think it's not out of the realms of the possible that there could be another delay. First of all, they're super vague again because early 2022 can mean something in like I think Q1 is probably still early, so March is probably the latest, if you will, that they could release. But God knows what's gonna happen. There might be internal delays. There might be other issues they face. They might try to incorporate. For example, we don't really know how they are handling Netherlands and Belgium, I think, or like the two countries that are still locked out, as I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Whether they actually try, I mean, maybe with the beta and the updated cash shop, they may already show us that they actually are able to like adjust the cash shop to have countries that are legally not able to play it because of loot box laws, that they might actually allow them to play. I mean, other games have done it, and I think Lost Ark would work perfectly fine with a different kind of cash up for those countries.
How
But
about Ashes of Creation is having an open beta? I'm talking out of my ass, by the way. Ashes of Creation is having an open beta in March. We need to postpone it because some people were saying that the reason why it's not December for Lost Ark this year is not necessarily about New World, like Lin-0 said, but it's more about Final Fantasy having some new patch. What
Yeah,
about
new expansion Final Fantasy. I think that's pretty big, actually.
There's
I think it definitely influenced their decisions.
there's always a new expansion. I'm gonna wait until there's no more MMOs so I can have Lost Ark.
Well, but it's
It is
also
a
different.
really notable one, though. I mean, that expansion for Final Fantasy is probably the most hyped one that maybe
Ever.
they've ever done.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it would be it would be very dangerous to release any MMO around that period.
Let's continue what Wilky was saying. Answer a question from a fan. I posted a tweet yesterday, and some people have asked some things that maybe is interesting to discuss. To delve deeper into the reasons why Amazon Games hasn't been able to secure more regions and why they would refuse to. I also wanted to ask you guys a direct question. Do you think South America, the CEA region, the Arabian countries, Africa, all of it, and everyone else that is IP blocked or region locked will have their own release 2023, 4, 5, 6?
We saw that Taiwan got their own region announced. I don't think it's entirely up to Amazon whether or not they get to publish in these areas. It's actually up to Smilegate.
Smilegate, yeah, Smilegate
to decide which publishers they want to work with in these regions. Amazon has infrastructure in these regions, and maybe they did want to publish in these regions, but as Smilegate says, no, we have someone else that we're interested in working with for these territories that they're out of luck there.
I mean that's fairly likely, given that Amazon's track record so far isn't the best, and there are definitely, especially if we're talking country-specific publishers, there are probably better choices than Amazon there. Sure, Amazon is like a multi-billion-dollar company, but what good does money do if they can't really put it to good use? Like, they have infrastructure, sure, and they technically have everything they need to host or to publish the game successfully, but so far they can't somehow manage to do it. So there might just be better options in different countries.
And I think
we don't really know how much Amazon actually like what their contract is, right? Because Amazon has such a big prowess. So it might be that Amazon is like, look, we're gonna publish this, but we're gonna like fight out a different contract, whereas like a region-based company that obviously has vastly different earnings and something like that, it might be just cheaper for Smilegate to get into a partnership with those.
I received an email, by the way. I received many emails after this postponement, but one of them was interesting, saying that somehow Smilegate is begging for publishers left and right. Somehow Amazon is the big boss in this. They're the ones that have all the leverage, and Smilegate, please take my game. Kind of like that. He wasn't saying specific words, like I said, but it was sort of that kind of feeling. What do you guys feel?
I don't buy that. Go on, Saint.
I don't think so. When it comes to publishing, the developer always decides who they work with.
Yeah.
And I'm sure And when we're talking about Lost Ark, that there's a lot of publishing companies that would want the rights to publish that game.
So basically, Smilegate does not want South American players to play the game, African players to play the game, Arabian players, CEA players. This is my biggest shock. You know.
No. Not that they don't want them to play it. That maybe that they want someone else to publish it. Maybe they already have something in line for who they want to publish it.
Yeah, and I know the MMO publishing, well, MMO publishers in EU and NA are not particularly reputable. They're not very big, and they're usually not very successful. But I'm South American. I'm Brazilian myself. My childhood was spent playing Grand Chase and Ragnarok Online, and these games were published by Level Up Games in Brazil. And I think that there is a much bigger MMO publisher presence in South America than there is in EU. What are you gonna get? You're gonna get Gameforge. You're gonna get Enmass, who literally just shut down the other day to publish Lost Ark Online. So it's when it comes to NA and EU, Amazon is a big player. But when it comes to other regions, at the very least South America, because I speak from experience, there are many other big competitive publishers that may be able to do a better job of localization and heck, possibly even monetization than Amazon does for these regions.
Yeah, at this point, I think I'm no longer talking in my expertise in this industry, but they're working with a wide berth of publishers here. We have Mail.ru, we have Pimeng, we have Amazon, we have whoever it is that's publishing Taiwan, and we potentially have others. So it's not like they're working with a single partner. They have so many different partners they're working with now.
So what are they waiting for to release for the CEA region? They're waiting for the game to be 4, 5, 6 years old, and then, or like I just
don't think
understand.
age is relevant when we're talking about the release of Lost Ark, because there's a lot of people who raise the argument of, why couldn't they release Lost Ark 2-3 years ago? Well, the reason is obvious. If they released the game 2-3 years ago, it would have been dead on arrival. At least right now, the game has so much traction and momentum when it comes to releasing because of all the amazing news about like the Korean version, for example, that's following it. This is the best version of Lost Ark that's ever released, and that's not debatable. That's fact. Every other region that released Lost Ark up until this point was riddled with flaws, and that's not to say that NA and EU might not have flaws. It very well could have flaws, but the flaws that were present in Korea, Russia, and JP, we could at least reliably say that most of those problems have been resolved, and that says a lot about how irrelevant the age is. It's good that people were patient.
Well, no, sure.
Now you get
that's
go ahead.
no, that's perfectly fine. That Lost Ark is the best version of itself that it ever was. But this is right now in the middle of 2021. Next year, there's not going to be any. There's going to be our release. Do you think that next year, all of a sudden, they're going to release for the CEA region, for South America also?
I could imagine that they at least announce something.
I think it's possible. If you think about this, like I touched on that earlier, I think they're going to push the Nostalgia update to NA and EU, and that's the first server that actually starts with this very different content structure. So they might just be, even though we kind of joked about that everything up until NA and EU was a test server, who's saying that our version might not be a test server as well? They're going to try and see how the Nostalgia or the tier 1, tier 2 progression is going to work out. And if it works out good, they may just push the CEA region or other regions with that specific update as well, because it seems to work in this region, and they are able to catch up to the existing servers in a much better pace. So I think it's very likely that they might announce more regions next year after a hopefully successful launch in NA and EU.
You guys are really optimistic. I love you guys. I really appreciate it.
We're just taking the optimism that you lost.
Yeah, I'm going to get it back next week. Can this delay be caused by the rework of the Abyss raids, which were important for tier 1 and 2? Can this also be a reason? Saintone, I'm asking this to you because you're in Korea.
Yeah, so if we look at the original launches of Lost Ark, they all released with only up until Shoeshire. And for new people that don't know anything about Lost Ark, it's a very shallow end game when the game releases that way. And historically, in every launch before this, they always release the first major raid 1 month without fail, always 1 month after that point. And when we talk about the 7.7 nostalgia update, we're talking with the potential that the game releases with everything up through Rohendel. And Rohendel is it's an incredible end game. It's a lot of people's favorite. But missing from all this is the Abyss raids, which are extremely notable encounters. They're considered the big bad raids of each tier. And Korea recently removed Mystic, and they recently removed Keister from tier 1 and tier 2, with the promise that they would return in a different capacity to be challenged in a different way later on. I do think that not having them is it would be a shame. It would be a big shame, because those fights are very memorable encounters, and with the timing, we very well could see them re-released in Korea and then get an idea of if maybe if their re-release has a place in NA and EU, because there's always that potential that Mystic and Keister get reworked into high-level content, and maybe they won't be relevant to T1 and T2 anymore. Maybe they might all become T3 content, for all we know. So I think it's too early to say on that until we see more information on the Korean side.
Mm-hmm. Let's do another question from a fan. He's talking about you specifically, Saint. He says, since Saintone has some experience in the business, could you talk about Smilegate's possible stance on this delay? I mean, contracts aside, this must be costing them a lot. They would have the wild holiday season to cash in on this. Not so much. So I'm not gonna ask this to all of you guys. You guys believe, same as Rox confirmed, that all of this delay is obviously done in agreement with Smilegate. So
it has to be.
Everyone's on board. Everyone's okay with this.
Yeah.
They found the logical reasons. The best business decision is to launch New World first, which I personally agree with. It sucks. It's a tough nut to swallow, but they have to get their own product out before they get other products out, so that they can be a bit more successful. They have to do it good so that they can be more trustworthy, so that more people would want to play more of their product. I agree with all of that. But you guys also agree that Smilegate is on board. They're perfectly fine with this, and they completely understand.
It's a partnership. They have to be. Amazon can't just say, by the way, we're just going to be delaying the game. Smilegate's going to be like, no, you can't. We have a contract. You have to abide by this date. So it has to be a discussion. It has to be something that they worked out together and decided in tandem.
It's hard to tell, because again, this is completely out of my, even though, yes, I work in the video game industry, I've worked in live service games, I've worked on MMOs. I haven't worked in the capacity where, I'm working with who's making these decisions, because, the people that you see are not the same people who make these decisions. The people like the community managers and the project managers and the directors, none of those people are the people who are making those types of decisions. And so it's hard to tell, is this because Amazon is reworking their agreement so it's more favorable for Smilegate, for example, in profit share, or is it related to something that Smilegate might want? Maybe Smilegate wants more time to develop the NA and EU version to have more features or anything like that, and maybe they need more time. Speculating on this doesn't really go anywhere, because it could be any number of reasons, and we're not privy to that information.
Okay. Another comment that I wanted to ask, that I wanted to answer. What do you think about the possible release could be? We talked about this. What do you guys think about Amazon saying Lost Ark dev team is independent and release will be fall, but then they announced the delay? We touched upon this as well. Would love to hear your thoughts about the speculation saying that, this is interesting, I read this yesterday, reviewing the recent changes on the Korean version. This was said in the post that we are reviewing the recent changes in the Korean version, and at the same time, Rox said in a tweet, which I'm actually going to share with you guys also here. This is actually
Yeah, it's about no new content despite the delay, right?
Yes, exactly. So Rox said
Yeah.
no new content despite the delay, but at the same time in the post they said we're reviewing the changes to the Korean patch, which we all assume it's tier 1 and 2 revised. But I think it's just a bad
It does
wording
seem
here.
like a conflict, right? Yeah. I personally think that when we're talking about content, we talk about two things in Lost Ark. Two things fall under content, and that's one, classes, and two, anything related to progression that increases your item level.
Yeah.
So I think when it comes to content, what they mean is no new classes and no higher level content than what we initially planned. But I don't think that omits things like quality of life features and overhauls, system overhauls.
Right. Okay, perfect. This is what I thought. Anyone has a different thoughts or the same thoughts?
I think I wonder if it will be with no new classes, because part of the reason why they'd be withholding some of the classes, at the very least the starting classes, namely Arcana and Destroyer, is what I feel just to be possible revamps or balance changes that may be coming in the future. So if there's time for Korea to push these out and they feel they could include that in the client patch, then who knows? There may be a thing, hopium for
I
for
hope that they
Arcana
release new
Destroyer.
classes, because when they
Yeah.
announced 15 classes, they did it with the implication that they were releasing in the fall. But with this potential delay, in that time that the game is delayed, 2 more classes will be out in every region.
Yeah, so I think it
Specialists
made
will be out in Korea, Sorceress will probably be out in Russia, and Gunslinger and Striker will probably be out in Japan in that time.
specialists before the end of the year. Well, I guess they did mention they were working on it, but yeah, because it'd be a bit weird to still have mage with only 2 classes despite being one of the starters.
Yeah, I hope they
And
change their mind on content related to classes.
yeah, so I think you're right in the sense of content being item level progression, and I think classes have more to do with you're still classes are the way with which you experience content. I guess it's so I would like to hope that by content they just mean, hey, if we're going to be getting Rohando, that's all we're going to be getting. The release plan is still roughly the same, but I am really hoping here that we do get an apology for the delay in more than just words. And I think including more classes is the perfect way to appease players that would be mad with the delay.
I also wanted to ask the last question from that I had planned for today, and that is, I am a little bit afraid that seeing how things are going or how things have went so far, which were not horrible, but they were not top tier either. I am a little bit afraid that in the future, after the release, we are still going to somehow be a little bit of a, I don't know how to call us here in the West. I don't know, the adopted child of Lost Ark. And I'm not only talking about Amazon games here, I'm also talking about Smilegate, them with getting stuff ready apparently for Amazon games to give us future patches, future frequency of content, seeing how they've delayed on us for so long. They don't communicate with us. Saintone mentioned that after the beta, that's the crunch time to start communicating. After the release, I'm assuming they're also going to try to continue doing it. Should fans be afraid that these kind of bad tasting things will happen also after release, with the frequency of patches, releases of classes, releases of content, stuff is not ready, we're still farming tier 2 raiding for 6 months before tier 3 is ready to be, and all sorts of these kinds of things. What do you think?
I think Smilegate does care a lot about its other regions. I mean, there was this story that apparently, because publishers have to work with developers to work out the roadmap for how content gets released in their specific region. And there was a story about how PMang wasn't being very cooperative. That's the publisher for the Japanese version of the game. And Smilegate had to essentially intervene to take a more forward approach with how the Japanese region was going to be developed. I think that Smilegate cares a lot about NA and EU because they probably recognize that NA and EU will be the next potential biggest community and player base for their game. I think it's abundantly clear that it's going to be way larger than Russia and Japan. And there's a lot of people out that are obviously hopeful that it could rival the size of the Korean player base, which is absolutely massive to this day. So I don't know about Amazon because Amazon has a lot to prove themselves, but I know that Smilegate will do a lot to care. I know the director tries to read discussion wherever he can possible, and I know that the Korean community, there's a lot of there's a lot of people among us that feel that that in a way we're the beta test for NA and EU to have a better version. So Smilegate did have to go forward and say that it's like, don't worry, you know, if everything goes well in NA and EU, we we'll still love you as our original region and everything like that.
What do you think?
I think Amazon, due to like not necessarily Amazon, but having established companies work with that, and the NA and the EU player base is fairly big, especially if you're looking at the MMORPG genre. There are quite a few people that are looking to play a game. I wouldn't necessarily say all of those are like looking at a theme park MMO, which Lost Ark is. There's still also quite a bit of a open world kind of faction there. But I don't necessarily think it's going to rival the Korean server. I think it's not impossible, but I somehow have the feeling that the Western audience is more inclined to the open world kind of MMORPG. That doesn't go to say that there's probably going to be like 50, 60, 70, maybe 100,000 concurrent players on the NA and EU servers, which I personally hope as well, because the Russian server is, well, I can only talk from my experience. The Russian server itself is okay, but you can already feel that the market is relatively empty. Looking for specific things is really hard, especially post.
Do you have the game open right
NA.
now?
I don't have the game open right now, but I can hop in.
I wanted to ask how many pages of accessories you guys have on the market
Okay.
right now.
We'll have that in just a second.
That's the real indicator.
Yeah.
Oh, the player
I
base,
can
isn't
tell you
it?
how much there's in Korea right now. We have 44,000 pages of accessories listed on the auction house at the moment.
Oh my god.
That is wild.
I don't think Russia comes close to that.
No.
Anywhere near.
Maybe 4 pages.
Yeah.
A couple more questions that I got on the YouTube channel. Do you think Amazon deliberately downgraded their announcement support for Lost Ark these last couple of months? We talked about this. Yes, New World is more important. New World should be more important. It sucks. I'm mad about it, but it's a good business decision, so let's at least forgive them about that. Nothing else. I'm suspicious about Amazon games from now on because I was naive and stupid and an idiot to actually really believe that a company such as Amazon, which of course my naiveness comes from me comparing their games section to their actual selling website for products, I was stupid enough to actually not believe you guys that were saying that they just wanna need to put New World first. I thought they could do both at the same time. So we talked about this. This is clear. It sucks, but it is what it is. I wonder when Mystic will come again to the Korean server. We talked about this a little bit as well. Is it realistic to expect more Korean content in the game now? Maybe Sorceress? We touched upon new classes. We don't know. We hope so. Lin-0 was saying that he would forgive them. He would be a shill for Amazon games if he would give them Sorceress. So that's one thing. Whether you think this is an actual Amazon or a Smilegate problem that is holding Lost Ark, we talked about this as well. Sorry, I'm reading them for the first time. Do you know if they are willing to allow us queuing up for PvP matches at any place? Yes, they are allowing us to queue up at any place. I have a request, do a real PvE tier list. This is a good meme. I wanna try in a future episode again to do a tier list. I thought that we can just do one class per episode, put it somewhere in S, A or B, whatever. Just eventually after 5 years we would have a tier list. This is a difficult topic, but I read that they're working on adding more ethnic diversity into the characters and the NPCs. This is a very large discussion to talk about the reshaping of character models, that they would be looking a little bit brown or a little bit black or whatever. This is an interesting topic that I would like to get into, but not in this episode. This takes too long, and Saintone actually needs to go. 10 minutes.
Actually, I just got a message from my raid. I can stick around for a little bit longer.
Awesome.
We're delaying a little bit.
Perfect.
Tension.
Do you think Amazon Games will release the game in maintenance mode? Lack of communication, transparency, and updates. I think they will start doing better. I tend to believe Saintone when he said during this podcast that after the beta is crunch time for pushing out things, or maybe next year, starting with next year, I really expect them to tell me something exciting every week. It's looking like Amazon Games is going to put some pretty heavy pay to progress into New World. Do you think they will mess with the Lost Ark cash up at all? This is another very interesting topic. Indeed, they are trying a little bit with New World to do this and that. I don't think they have a lot of control over the cash shop in Lost Ark, but looking at the Russian publisher, which actually back in the day they asked Smilegate to completely change the game and how it works with the weekly raid that did not used to cost Acrasium to upgrade, yet in Russia it did, specifically for the Russian region. I wouldn't be surprised if Smilegate would actually agree to all sorts of interesting offers that Amazon might propose to them. You guys have any thoughts on this?
I don't know how New World is being monetized, so I can't say I have an educated.
What about Amazon Games going wild with Lost Ark?
Besides for the fact that, Russia and I believe JP and Korea definitely do have packages that have materials that can expedite your progress at a cheaper rate than buying through the auction house. In limited supply, of course. They don't let you buy this stuff to infinity. I mean, I can see Amazon being less aggressive with those kinds of things, but besides for that, I think the only thing that should be addressed is accessibility of character slots without having to pay real money. The need for having to use blue crystals for loot at the end of a dungeon, or additional loot at the end of a dungeon, as well as pet features. Even though they're very, very small costs, I know it's just something that a North American and European audience wouldn't like. I think anyone who plays in Russia or Korea knows that it's practically nothing, but it's these small, tiny, monetized things that even if you could use your gold on it, it just kind of ticks you off. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
honestly,
it's a stupid thing that looks stupid, and it's for little gain to the company. Same as finishing your expedition in a house faster or instantly with paying blue
so
crystals.
I'm really curious on how they're planning on changing things. And I mean, they kind of told us that we'll have better insights on their monetization soon. So again, it's another case of balls in Amazon's court. It's up to them to really prove what they're saying before we believe them.
I'm wondering if it would probably be a better call for all these little monthly costs that they have, like the pets and buffs and stuff like that. They just check that all together with Beatrice's blessing, because I don't think that Western players are too resistant to a subscription system, so long as it feels that you are getting your money's worth out of that. So
the current subscription is pretty bad. Like it's
not
really
shit,
worth buying at
it's
all.
not good.
No,
I wonder if they just checked it all together.
This subscription being so bad is actually great for content creation. I had such an easy time saying, you guys really don't need this. You can play for free.
Yeah, it's true. There's so many people who play without it because it doesn't really have that much value in it.
Yeah. Also, a couple of other questions. Will people lose their interest in Lost Ark because of the delay? I want to start answering this question myself also. I don't think so. I think that only the fans, the hardcore fans, the more fan you were of the game so far, the more upset you are about this. And I think only the diehard fans might actually be disappointed in this delay. Most of the people, the majority of the player base, has not even heard of Lost Ark yet, but they did hear about Amazon Games, and they did hear all the negative reviews that Amazon Games has online from all the other content creators, big or small. And that's what worries me, not Lost Ark. Lost Ark is safe. God forbid, it can come out in 2090. People still wouldn't know about it. Hey, it's a new game. It's coming out. Let's try it. This is my opinion. What do you guys think?
Honestly, reading all these things about people refunding Founders Pack, guarantee you all these people are just gonna play the game
Of
anyways. People are mad at Amazon, but they still like Lost Ark. They're still gonna play the game, especially in a period of time where it's very likely Lost Ark will release when there's nothing else to play. So
What do you think, Wilky?
I think it's pretty much exact same thing. That despite the fact that there isn't really any big competition when it comes to Lost Ark, even if they were, the people that are now up in arms, they probably just want to make some room for their anger and like, oh,
yeah,
I'm
they wanna
gonna
make a
refund
statement,
this.
and that's fine.
Yeah, and that I think that's a good, like, because people just ranting on the forums are one thing, but actually taking back the money out shows the company that they what they did is actually not to their fans or to their customers' liking, which I think is the most effective way to actually tell or show the company, like, oh, look, I actually want to play the game, but I'm not really d'accord with what you're doing right now. We know the reasons, we don't know the reason, it doesn't really matter, but I think it's the right thing that people refund it, but I also agree that the people are just going to come back because Lost Ark is a fantastic game. Even if they monetize it a bit more aggressively, I think Lost Ark has a lot of room to be monetized more aggressively and still provide a superior free-to-play player experience. That even though those people that may have refunded will not necessarily buy a new Founders Pack, they're still going to play the game, and they're
Yeah, they
still
might just
probably
play
going to,
play.
yeah, and even if they're just fully free to play, but they might just be like, I kind of like the game, I want to get an outfit, I want to get a specific pet, I want to get that mount, and it's those kind of people that are just, like, they already shelled out the money before actually playing the game, or they maybe played it on another region, so they're not opposed to spending money on the game, and they will spend money on the game once it launches anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
Honestly, yeah, because I'm also thinking, even if, I mean, I don't even think it's going to be a case of, you refund the Founders Pack and that's it, I'm not going to buy the Founders Pack ever again. It's more to make a statement. I don't think the refunding is necessarily a bad thing because, as it's been said, it shows them the best way of making your voice heard is making it heard with your wallet, and it's very evident that by having these mass refunds coming along, Amazon has to reevaluate how accepting the community is of these kinds of news. It may just be that people end up rebuying the Founders Packs later once they see that Amazon's communication has gotten better, that they're more transparent, that the effort that they're putting into this pre-release period is actually worth their money. So I don't even think in the long run it will matter too much in the sense of the revenue that Amazon's going to be getting, but I think it does matter in the short term when it comes to sending a message. And
Yeah, honestly, this delay in the grand scheme of things is so minor, but the real bad news about this delay is no Halloween, no Christmas and New Year's, no sales related to either, no events related to either. And Lost Ark is really well known for having amazing events during those times.
Yeah, it is. I guess we'd catch the Easter period, but it's really the summer
Sorry,
Halloween.
Who actually celebrates Easter?
Exactly.
No, well,
So,
no, here in the West, I believe there's more Christians, and that's why they celebrate Easter more. But if there's no event for Easter developed by
which there
Koreans,
isn't.
then what are we celebrating? A couple more questions. Do you think that the delay is going to push some people towards staying on KRRU and not going over to EU? Absolutely not at all. I believe that people will right away jump on the EU version when it's ready. I've had this asked so many years in the past. Also, I'm gonna always play on Russia. Screw Amazon games. That's not gonna happen. You're gonna jump into EU the second it comes out. Do you think Amazon games will censor costumes? Yes, they already actually shown that they are. Do you think Amazon games will lose interest in Lost Ark?
Hold on. They censored costumes on web promotion. Nothing has actually been censored in game yet. The same costumes that they censored online, when we saw them in game, they were the same exact version as they were in the Korean version.
Well, yeah, but this is in alpha. That's why it was NDA, I believe.
Yeah. So I think before we jump to that conclusion, because they said that they're not censoring anything, we should wait and see in the beta if that's actually the case or not.
Well,
Yeah, I think
wait,
maybe
wait.
at best.
Wait, just
go
a
on.
sec. Sorry, just a second. They did say that they're censoring.
No. They said that they're only planning on censoring on web promotion, but they said that they will not censor anything that exists in game. They said that on Steam somewhere.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, it was something. Yeah. Oh, the game will still be rated M. It's gonna be a mature game. All the bloodshed, whatever, is still gonna be there. I do think that they might censor some outfits. Not gonna lie, there has to be a reason
no
why
point.
Soulfist.
Have
Like,
you seen
what-
those bikinis? You censor one thing, you gotta censor everything.
I know it's gonna be. That's the thing. You
Have
are
seen
right. I don't know.
Beatrice?
I don't know how the hell they're gonna be censoring when
No,
you got the summer
so-
outfits being what they are.
Wait,
Or the legendaries even. You just say, Gunslinger Garter Belt legendaries and going with that.
Well-
But I don't know, because they have kept the Sophist outfit hidden for some reason. And that's definitely a Jav outfit right there. So I don't know if
so
they're
why
gonna be
did
censoring or
did
not.
they keep the Soul Master? They said the Soul Master is still under works, or was that BS
Yeah.
as well? Just because they forgot to put it in, or
I'm
That's what I'm
just saying. If they were to censor that, they would have to censor a lot of things in this game.
I see. Some people
That is not the most offensive costume as far as sexual suggestiveness goes.
Just thinking of all the costumes that they would have to censor. You raise a good point, actually. Thinking back on it, they have a lot of work ahead of them if they're going to be censoring costumes.
Yeah, I don't think they will ever
I don't think they're
censor
actually
it.
censoring anything in
Yeah.
game. But again, we'll see in the beta, and we'll see when they actually show whatever the hell they're doing with the Soul Fist outfit.
okay. All right. Lastly, I also wanted to just finish up these. Maybe we can take a couple of questions if someone in Wilky's chat has any questions. I just want to know Smilegate's side of the story. They're losing millions. We talked about this. What someone was saying, what's the point? We kind of don't care about the game anymore. Come on, guys, stop it. I mean,
That's super doomer, man.
listen. I'm also upset. I'm really upset, not at the fact that Amazon decided to postpone Lost Ark to release New World, even if that's true, which I believe it is. That's my prerogative, and that's a good business decision. I don't want to kiss Amazon's ass, because that's not my intention. On the contrary, from now on, I'm very suspicious about them. But in reality, going from that to just having these extreme feelings of abandonment, this is not something that should happen, because Lost Ark is still going to do good regardless of this delay. Many people don't know about Lost Ark. It's more important right now for Amazon Games to do other things. I'm pissed off, like I said in my first video about this, my first reactions. The reason why I'm pissed off is because Amazon Games got themselves in this situation. I'm not pissed off that they put New World first. That's just a tough nut to swallow. It sucks. But why do you take 2 MMOs in your hands when you know you already have one? Just deal with one and let someone else take it for the West. Not saying that I want to change publisher, or that I think I would be happier with Gameforge publishing Lost Ark in October. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying the reason that the very fact that Amazon has both Lost Ark and New World, that is the big problem here, and that is what pisses me off, the fact that they took it and cannot handle it. Simple as that. It's not about the babies, it's not about who's better, it's not about the adopted child. But yeah, anyway.
I guess we can take some questions from chat if you want. I'm just gonna go ahead. Fire Kingster asks, what class will each of you main on the Western servers? I think we talked about this in the last podcast, but we can still quickly brush over that. At the moment, I plan on maining Scrapper, but I will try Striker, and if I like it sufficiently enough, that is going to be my main go-to. Unless they somehow decide to release Glavier, then obviously the choice is set for me.
Fire Kingster doesn't get an answer from me. This is how it is. Sorry.
It's denied.
I'll probably play Artillerist.
Yeah, as for myself, I'll just make multiple classes, because PvP, right? So just get level 50 and not bother with gearing. It'll probably be Artillerist, Summoner, and Shadow Hunter as my first 3, and then I'll just make whatever.
Next question. What do we have here? Fire Kingster, get wrecked. I'm sorry, my bro. I actually love Fire Kingster. Such an involved guy in the forums and everywhere else. On the Discord as well. Super nice guy. But yeah, I'm gonna play Summoner. I'm actually gonna play Summoner and Artillerist on one account because I have two. I'm gonna say it again. And on the other account, I'm gonna play two Summoners. So, Summoner.
Summoner it is then. Alright, we have another question. Wouldn't it be better for AGS to delay New World to 2022 and release Lost Ark first? Well, I think that's not ever gonna happen due to the fact that they just invested so much more into New World that turning them vice versa would not do any good for New World. It would do better for Lost Ark, but I think we talked about this anyway already, that Lost Ark is really... I mean, there's obviously a period. If they release Lost Ark in 2030, it's probably not going to be as well received. But if they release it now or in half a year, I think it really doesn't take away from the glory and the fanciness and the fun Lost Ark provides to people.
I believe that New World releasing first was always in the plan, possibly also in some sort of a contract in between Smilegate and Amazon Games. Maybe not, I'm just talking out of my ass, but I'm just saying it's really important for Amazon to get their product out first, so that people would perceive them in a more positive light, that they've actually gotten something over the finish line. I hope it's gonna be good. I hope Amazon Games is gonna make a lot of money from New World, so that implicitly Lost Ark fans would have a better time, because if Amazon makes a lot of money and is happy, then they won't feel the need to somehow strangle their published game Lost Ark, strangle the people inside it for more money so that they can make up for losses or whatnot. I believe that if a company is happy with their products, they're going to be happy with all, and the monetization is going to be good, the roadmaps are going to be good, the employees on Amazon Games are going to be good and many, and we're going to have people talking and telling and working on it. So yeah, that's what I think. I have a question. I asked from Wilky's chat. I asked this earlier, but I'd like to ask again. Will Saintone be participating in Allcraft with Asmongold to clear some fog about Lost Ark? I wanted to say that I absolutely would love to see Saint going to Allcraft. I would love to see Saint going to all of these bigger streamer places that he can talk about Lost Ark. I think he's awesome. I recommended this to him and also to Allcraft as well. But it's his decision, of course. I want to hear his opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I love talking about Lost Ark, and I love clearing misinformation, because there's basically nothing that bothers me more than misinformation. However, I'm also apprehensive because there's about a 1 billion% chance that if I went on Allcraft and started talking positively about Lost Ark, that I'd get harassed in my DMs from maybe some very adamant fans of his.
Also, at the moment, I don't think that right now is a good time to talk about Lost Ark, because we don't know exactly what we're gonna get after the beta, after November the 9th. Then that is a good time to start talking about it.
Probably.
We're gonna see the content then, and the cash shop as well. So that can clear up the pay to win. Is it or is it not? Or how much is it? Because we know it's gonna be, but how much is? And also the content. That's the time. Anything else, Wilky? Did you catch any other questions?
Yeah, we have another question. If New World gets delayed to 2022, so this is an assumption, which is rather likely, will Lost Ark be delayed even further?
Yes.
Possibly.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't think New World is going to get... New World already has had so many delays. I guess coming off the back of the previous question, whether it'd be better to release Lost Ark first as well. I mean, New World has already had quite a few alphas. They've already had some betas. They've been building up to New World for such a long time that I think is very unlikely that they'll just hit us with the, oh, by the way, we're going to be delaying again, even though everything now is kind of public and open. It'd be really, really strange. I don't think Lost Ark would kind of sync with New World in that sense.
Someone was saying in your chat that don't pressure Saint into that bowl of Pepega Sag. I kind of agree, not with necessarily the fact that Asmongold's or the World of Warcraft's community is some sort of a bunch of bad people. I respect WoW
No,
players.
they're not.
Yeah,
It's
no.
just, some of the vocal people, and then
Yeah.
you see one message, and then you tag along onto that message. And Asmund himself has very educated and reserved takes on games. He doesn't jump to conclusions, and he's a lot better at managing his chat, and not like managing them, but he knows what to read and what to listen to, as most of those bigger streamers tend to do. So I'm not adverse to talking to him. I'd love to talk to him about the game, just because I'd love to talk to anyone about the game, really. But I've seen how some people can get and how emotional some people can get about feeling threatened about their game when there's another game in the space. And
I actually that's a very good point. Because I believe that fans of Warcraft, fans of Asmongold, are 100% World of Warcraft players, at least most of them, and it's pretty tough to get a WoW player to somehow, let's say, stop loving WoW to a point of being a very big fanboy. I know I was the same with Aeon for very many years. And also on top of that, I'm not exactly 100% sure that the very beginning of Lost Ark, Tier 1, Tier 2, is an amazing place for a World of Warcraft player that plays in the latest patch there. I think maybe the Korean version right now would be an amazing place because they have so much cool
I still
content.
think we're a little bit jaded on that because, we've seen all these things. But from anyone who comes from any of those kinds of games and then starts playing Lost Ark, they immediately enter the honeymoon phase with the game. They're immediately wowed by everything, especially up through Rohendel, which is considered tier 1 content. And like a great example of this is do any you guys know Stoops from World of Warcraft by any chance? He's a PvPer from World of Warcraft that recently stopped playing that game. And I was watching his broadcast earlier where he just had gotten to Rohendel on the Russian server, and he was absolutely floored by it. He pretty much, it is paraphrasing, but it more or less put most things in World of Warcraft to shame with just how amazing it was, and that's all tier 1 content. So I think we're a little bit more jaded because we've seen just how amazing the game does get later on in terms of its content design. But I still think that there was a time where we looked at tier 1 content too, and we also were wowed by it. So,
yeah, for a PvP player especially, I believe Lin-0 can confirm it's pretty nice in Lost Ark these days. Even straight from the get-go, they can let you queue from wherever you want. It's equalized. You have various characters to play if you want to swap this, swap that. You have so many modes. Possibility of esport, maybe, if Amazon.
Yeah, Railroad is end of year. I think it's a great game for PvPs, and I wouldn't be playing the game if it wasn't. I think the biggest thing is the fact everything is equalized. It's so easily accessible to anybody. You can just make a character, level them for a bit, and just hop in. And I think the accessibility and the uniqueness of the classes really make the game really, really fun to play in PvP. So I think PvPs are going to be having a field day with this game once it comes out in the West.
That goes into one question that one of the viewers posted. Is PvP going to be 50 in the beta? We don't really know. The current Korean patch allows for PvP, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, at level 26.
That's right.
The moment you reach the first major city, you're allowed to start queuing for PvP.
Okay, so that's Lutron's castle.
Yes.
That you can PvP. I suppose at some point in the future, we're probably going to get that system. I don't really know if it's going to be in beta, though.
I mean, if they're going to be releasing Astalia, then they're going to be releasing that system because it came there, like either on the 7.7 patch or even just slightly later. So I think it's very likely that we'll be getting that.
I'm just going to say just one quick thing. The fact that PvP is available starting with Lutheran Castle was made specifically for our Western version. That's all I'm going to say.
I'm not sure it goes that far, but I think just quality of life.
But, because in Korea, usually people, first of all, PvP is not big in Korea. It's big in the sense that because of the sample size, you can get a ranked match with fairly good ranking matching at like any time of day. But that just has to do with volume of players more than anything else. But like PvP isn't a focal for the Korean community, and also with how many boosts they give us out for free, most of the time people start at level 50. So the whole change to allow people to start PvPing starting from Lutheran Castle is it's almost inconsequential to our server.
Yeah, maybe, but I think lots of like the little quality of life stuff, like the queuing to PvP from anywhere, which came a little bit earlier. I don't think it was one of those things. I guess it was something that would be asked for because it is quite frustrating to be at the PvP board. But it's also been quite weird that in Lutheran we have a PvP board, but you get to Lutheran and you can't actually use that PvP board until you get to level 50, and then you kind of have to go back to the town and then use the board there. So I feel it's probably them just tidying up things and making it consistent.
Maybe.
But who knows? Maybe an AEU release, it's one of the things that actually pushed them to get this done sooner rather than later, so that EU and NA would actually have that patch and people would have a little bit more freedom when it comes to PvP. So I think it can matter, actually. You're right.
What do you guys think about the grouping up? Should there be some more incentives to group up with other people as you're leveling up? The feeling that I personally got, and I'm remembering this from 2 years ago when I was playing in Korea, the feeling that I got in Lost Ark is that you don't really have incentives. You don't really have incentives to make friends, besides when you get to end game and you need people in your pre-made to actually raid successfully without pugging and wasting a lot of pots and time. But what about more incentives to, I don't know, to make friends? Or do you think this is like a personal specific thing? Each person in the world should make friends on their own without the game somehow giving you extra XP boost if you are in a group to level up, because the leveling up process is solo. No,
yeah, the leveling up I don't think is going to matter, because leveling up is just doing quests. I mean, the fastest way to level up currently, I think, is you just do the main story quest up until Arthetine, and then you just do the side quest there. So there isn't really much to do there with co-op.
They push you in dungeons, though. It is the main quest, but you get to dungeons, and dungeons you do solo, because it's easy enough to do solo. You just need to do the normal mode, by the way.
I mean, you can match up with people. You can just do matching or get people.
Will do
you have to walk up
but
to dungeons,
it is true what Tao says. I do think that the feeling of community, the feeling of interacting with other people, is a lot less prevalent in Lost Ark compared to other MMOs. Part of the reason that I think of that is because of channel limitations. There's only 30 to 50 people that you can put in a channel. But I would also agree that oftentimes I just don't really see people really interacting with each other. You go into a dungeon, you can do the entire thing without communicating at times.
Yeah.
You go to a world boss. I mean, some people might be talking here and there, but you're just standing there until the world boss spawns or until the island spawns for a counter event. So it would be interesting to see if they made more reasons for people to play together. I think naturally people will play together because there's a lot of people who go into Lost Ark with their friends and they'll want to level up together. I've seen that question pretty often. Can I level up together with my friends? The answer is yes. But I mean, on the Korean side as well, they've been trying to do more things to push people towards a closer feeling of community. We just recently implemented the Loa Talk feature, which is kind of cool. It's essentially link shells from Final Fantasy XIV, where you can have a cross-server chat room with some of your friends from other servers, and you can just talk to them in the in-game client from that, like an SMS feature.
Mm-hmm.
I think that feature is so good. It's being really, really overdue. In Russia, I was PvPing with some people that I was just meeting in queue very often, and I say, "Oh wow, you're playing really well." I want to send them a message, but I can't because they're in another server. So I have to go and create a character in another server, and then whisper them with the character that I created in that server. And it's just, I think initiatives for, talking to other people and socializing start with these chat rooms, and I guess we're just making it more accessible to people to interact. It's just, I guess, it's difficult finding places to do it as part of the game mechanics itself, maybe in islands or, as Sio said, of rewards, I guess, more XP. But if you're doing dungeons or endgame content, you're going to be LFGing or partying up, even with just the auto match. So I guess it's these are the features that I like to see, and I'm really happy that they added that.
Are you guys ever gonna do a podcast with arena players? I don't understand what that means. Anyone else understands?
PvP is so
Yeah,
a
you are
podcast
you,
with
you are a,
PvP is,
you are a PvPer. What more PvPer do we need here? Also, another question. Do you guys think they will be adding a ranked queue for organized parties in PvP? No, that's called the esports. Happens once a year. I really hope that's gonna happen for the Western version of Lost Ark as well. I really hope it's gonna be a LAN tournament, but during this COVID times, I'm happy with an online one as well. It would be really nice, really such a sweet cherry on the Lost Ark cake if they would actually do this. I want to see Lin-0 play. I want to commentate his gameplay.
Since I think I'm a bit cursed to be a commentator as of late, where there are being the little Lost Ark Discord events and commentating and all. Now I gonna get you to fill for me. So will you be the commentator so that I get to play the tournament? That'd be great.
I'm just gonna.
That'd actually be really cool.
I'm just gonna flex a little bit here, and I'm just gonna say that when I was commentating PvP, you guys didn't even know what Lost Ark is. That's it. Not Saintone, of course. He was playing for a long time. But yeah,
the OG commentator. You were there for everybody else.
I didn't say it. It's on my channel. 2019. I guess that's about it. One last question to end this show up. I think it's a good question to end it. Is how many of you are planning to participate in the upcoming beta? Of course, I believe all of us. And will you be making or planning to make any content with the footage, I'm guessing, from the beta? So I'm going to let you guys answer that.
Absolutely. I mean, there's so much potential change, especially for us on the Russian server. Obviously, Saint is familiar with all of the changes. It's still going to be a different experience because he's on a fresh server, no legacy, no nothing. The server is going to be completely new. But I'm definitely going to be playing it to see what kind of changes we're going to get. What kind of, the biggest takeaway for me from the beta is we finally, or hopefully at least, we know what kind of content structure we're going to get. Like I said, I do believe it's going to be the tier 1 and tier 2 compression, but how the endgame systems are going to be working differently. Will we maybe have more continents? Because there's still the official page telling us that there's 7 distinct continents, I think is the wording. That can mean anything, really. Maybe we're going to be having content up onto Rohendel. Maybe it's just going to be Shoeshire. Maybe even less than that, even though less is probably not likely. But I'm definitely going to be playing it. And I don't know if I'm going to be making a video or a stream of my leveling process, because I don't necessarily think... There's been plenty of people that did the rush to level 50. I don't think that's something we need to do. By now, most people that want to get to endgame quickly have laid out their plans or are familiar with the systems or the... I wouldn't even call it speed running, but know the systems on how to speed up your leveling process, because let's face it, we all probably leveled so many characters that by now, just thinking about leveling, I think Saint is the only difference here, because he seems to enjoy leveling new characters. Whenever I think about leveling a new character, I'm kind of like, what am I doing with my life?
Isn't he boosting? I don't know.
I mean, he did play his Glavier on KR. So, or Spearmaster, Lancemaster.
Glavier, okay. Yeah. No.
And I don't know if you leveled Sork or if you boosted her. I actually, shame on me, I didn't watch you play her, so I don't know if you boosted her or not, but I think he enjoys playing new characters. And
that's it, an awkward silence from Saint. It's not confirmed nor denied.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I've been through it so many times. I just turn my brain off and just read chat during it. That's it.
Yeah, leveling's weird. When it comes to playing the beta, I definitely will. And when it comes to content, I think it's a big deal just for having skill names and most importantly knowing balance patches. Say you want to make a class guide. How am I going to make a class guide if suddenly they just change up the balance completely? Am I going to make a class guide for Gunsling and then she has sliding pod, or she doesn't? How exactly is that going to work? And also knowing skill names is a pretty big deal. Is it Hurricane Rush or is it Moonlight Sonic? So when it comes to content, I think the beta is going to help a lot with establishing things. But yeah, on the leveling topic, oh my god, screw leveling. I hate leveling so much. Leveling is when you bring up the Ark podcast and you listen to the Ark podcast while you're leveling and you just autopilot your way through the leveling process while listening to something else. That's how I do it, at least.
There you go, very sweet. I'm also planning to level up. I hope that in total I would be able to level up 2 characters, because I want to see the implications also of having 2 characters. Quite frankly, in my opinion, the way I see things, this beta is the only time when I can actually gather proper footage in English with the proper patch that we're gonna have and the proper things that are appearing in the boxes in the UI menus, so that I can use this footage later on before release to talk about things, as opposed to having translated from Korea or Russia or showing different things, 5 tiers of rating as opposed to just 1 or 2. So it's a great opportunity for me, very excited to jump into the beta. And I'm also planning to recruit someone to play another account for me, because since I don't have absolutely any friends to try out things in game, I have to try them out from 2 PCs with myself. So that's my plan. But yeah,
If you're in the beta, just hit us up, man. I'd be glad to do some testing.
that's nice.
So
We can test CC in PvP.
damn right, I'm gonna get you to sit in those custom matches now. You've
Man, I
a
would
mutual relationship.
I would really like one of my hidden dreams is that I would be able to play some content with you guys, some PvP with Lin, maybe some other content PvP related with Saint and Wilky. Would be really nice, I think, really fun. But I guess this would wrap it up. We've been on it for
There's one last question that I'd like to ask. Alves was asking, how are you planning to level 2 characters while being IP blocked, Saivo?
Well, am I IP blocked though? There's a VPN. I've tested already my Steam accounts that I have purchased from Romania with my parents' credentials, because I'm that panicked that they're gonna find me and ban me because I say some shitty things about Amazon games, and they maybe, I don't know, it's just in my head. I'm just stupid, so I'm sorry. But I did make I made one account with my parents' credentials and one account with my aunt's credentials, phone number, name, everything else. They made it for me basically. So I'm basically.
I was just gonna say, as far as chat's concerned, you're not IP blocked. You are in a perfectly legal region.
Exactly.
You are. It's like, what do you mean IP blocked? You know, he's.
Yeah,
You know,
I'm not IP blocked. It's all good.
yeah, no, he's all right. Perfect. Nothing's happening. Move on.
Yeah.
No problems there. He's doing okay.
Yeah, that's how it is. So I took care of myself. Unfortunately, I had to spend quite some money to get these accounts, because again, just because I'm stupid, I had to travel to the country where I belong from and get them there, sort them out. I tried them here in this other country. Works perfectly fine. So yeah, I hope I will. Or I hope I will get unblocked. Why would they block Estonia? Smilegate. Oh my god. Like really, I'm blocked from Russia, I'm blocked from Europe. There is no loot box rules here. There is no... But let's not talk about me. I don't want to talk about myself in a podcast.
Who knows? Delays. Maybe they bring in more regions. Even if they said no content, at the very least, let's see if they can get some more regions.
Yeah, I would forgive them if they allow some other regions to play the game. I would be 100% a shill for Amazon games if they do that. By the way, lastly, just before I press the stop recording button, I wanted to share with you a pretty interesting. It's a funny thing, a meme that people have made.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
Share with the world as well. So someone highlighted some words in the latest article. With that in mind, we've made the decision to push the launch of Lost Ark to early 2022 to support New World.
And the hidden messages, if you know where to look.
Oh god, this was good. Anyway, thank you so much, guys, for joining me today. By the way, would you like at the end of this podcast to say your own things where people find you, or would you like me to tell them?
I'm good.
I
can't find me anywhere.
Up to you.
Okay, because I really like talking about you guys. The reason why I'm doing this podcast with you is simply because you are 3 of my favorite content creators. right here above me we have Lin-0. He talks about PvP. He streams about PvP also. Has some very cool videos about how PvP works in Lost Ark. Here on the top right corner we have Saintone, a really cool and smart and calculated player. One of my how can I say this? One of the people that I look up to in terms of being always there, always on point, following his things, streaming always at the same time, doing his job, playing well, trying hard in the content. Very nice person to watch for the latest Korean things, Saintone. And right here in the bottom right corner is Wilky, a person who has so many cool guides about Lost Ark in general. That he's
I also
really
have the worst thumbnails.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, you should see Saint One's YouTube videos. I mean, those titles.
Drags on my titles all the time.
Yeah, I just want them to be more shown to people, more clickable. So here we see, here we have Wilky, who also does really good content, really cool guides for the game in general, and I basically watch all three of these people and another couple of people that create content for Lost Ark. Very nice people. I thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you guys that are watching from Wilky's stream. I really appreciate it. I hope that soon I will be able to also stream this myself, maybe sometime in the future. But until then, I really thank you for your question. Thank you for the questions on Twitter. Thank you for the questions on YouTube, on my channel that I asked you. So yeah, this was everything for today's. In the future, another
Thank you
one.
for hosting.
Thank you, guys. See ya.
Okay, I
Thanks,
think that's
thanks for
it.
having
Have
me.
a great one.
Yeah, take care, guys.
Bye, y'all.